I'm honored to have you guys.
It's mine.
Yes, the honor is completely mine. The amazing artists. I heard a lot about you from Kareem. Kareem is my friend, so he's always talking about you and your amazing art. Expression, in my humble belief, is the opposite of depression, and art is the ultimate way to expression. Yeah. So.
But everything is art.
Everything is art.
Everything is art.
But we were just talking about Tesla cars. Are they art?
Yes.
They are art.
Yes.
You said they're aggressive. How are they aggressive?
Backs of houses are art.
Okay.
Rubbish dumps are art. Everything is art.
Okay.
Everything that exists is art.
Yeah.
When you begin to see that way, the world just opens up, because you're not judging, you're not saying, oh, this is art and that's not art, and you're an artist and you're not. There's none of that.
Yeah.
We're just all part of this creative being,
Yeah.
The table, the microphone, the glass, the plant, it's just everything, the whole thing.
Okay. Do you think there's any kind of art, because this just popped in my mind when you're saying now that everything is art, you think there's some art that's being not expressed? If I'm asking the question.
It doesn't exist then.
It doesn't exist then, yeah. Makes sense, yeah. Like, because I believe that if you keep expressing your emotions, it will always bring out art. Somehow.
It's always part of art.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you're not expressing your emotions, this is...
But it's like putting it the other way around. Everything is expressing itself to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just what you think.
Yeah.
It's what everything is.
Yeah.
So that, if it's like a badly painted back door with some rubbish below, and a dead cat, that is the emotion it's giving to you.
Exactly.
You're not putting your emotion onto everything. Everything is there to put its emotion onto you.
Right.
And then you filter it.
Direct observation.
And you develop yourself from it.
Very beautiful, yeah.
Because it's endless.
Yeah.
Whereas we just as a one person are quite limited.
Yeah, it's infinite, yeah. And the more you allow it, the more you can expand.
The more you realize, what everything is, the more alive and wonderful life is.
Yeah.
And the more that you can give joy and happiness and love to other people, which is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about. Yeah.
That's what we're here, to share that.
To share the love and joy and peace, and the high vibes, yeah.
I just wanted to say, because you said, is there any art that is not being expressed? Is this
Yeah.
something I understood?
Yes.
I was going to tell you that I was very fortunate enough
Okay.
to have Saudin. I call him Saudin because
That's my name.
Mr. Saudin.
Mr. Saudin, he was your teacher.
He was my teacher when I was 13, which is
Wow.
13, which is more than 40 years ago.
Wow.
And you said, is there any expression that's not art, or is there anyone who tries to express and is not?
People.
I can say that I owe Saudin, Mr. Saudin.
Yeah.
Saudin, you didn't call me
Saudin, man.
No, Mr. Saudin back then.
Or would you like to call me sir?
No. Master of art.
Oh, master, yes.
He really had an impact on me to realize how you can free yourself up.
Yeah.
All right, and by watching him also during class painting, because he wouldn't teach us how to do things, how to paint this, and how to use a pencil, or how to use paint.
Yeah.
No, he would actually be in class and be working on one of his pieces.
And I can see this impact on you, because we were just talking before we started recording that you are parts of everybody you dealt with or connected with through your life. You're parts of these people. So the part of him in you, I can see it. Honestly, I can see it.
Brother.
And this freedom you have, he has a big input in it, because you're a free man. I know you, and I know this about you, and that's a very good feature in you. You're a free man, and his artistic influence or part in you is a big part of the freedom in you.
Yes.
And that's amazing. And art is freedom. Art is super freedom. It's limitless. No limits.
No limits. No limits.
And we were just talking about the subconscious mind, and that's my thing to discover all the time. Subconscious mind is always formed in the childhood. Kareem, you were teaching Kareem, 13 years old. Subconscious mind is open, is receiving and being programmed so much through teachers, through parents, through excessive exposure to anything. So when you implant this seed of freedom in this subconscious mind in this age, then when Kareem is an adult, no matter temptations that take him to no freedom or pressure that takes him to no freedom, he will always win that and he will always be free.
By what I'm trying to say is Saud helped me discover that, not with instructing me or teaching me, by observation. I was observing how he would, let's say, attack the campus or like use the pen, and I would say, he's
being a role model.
He's using his energy, and I can see that. It wasn't about doing the homework. It wasn't about doing doing a beautiful. No, it was about him just observing him doing art, and how and processing. Like once, I'll tell you, I told you this before. He had an orange. Was it an orange or was it a pomegranate?
An orange.
Orange, yeah.
Right.
So he had an orange. He came in the class once with this orange and he put it on the table and he started drawing the orange.
Yeah.
And we started drawing the orange too. And then he kept that orange every single day for the whole year to see what happens to that orange throughout its its life, throughout its existence.
Yeah.
And he would have sketches of that orange by observing that orange and what the changes would happen to that orange.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, it was like it was a hard shell, you know. And it was very interesting because he would talk about something. He'd tell me, look at the wrinkles on it. Look how it's aging.
Yeah.
This kind of, I'm very, very, very grateful for this because this kind of, this is not only a teacher. This is an inspiration. This is.
Of course.
And I'm very grateful for that. And they say also when the student is ready,
the master appears. Yeah, and that's a great part in you, of course. That's a great part in you. I can see it. And this influence in kids, as you were a teacher, so did you see kids expressing? Kids cannot express. Kids.
Because inhibitions of people.
Okay.
Which they have been mostly molded by other people, or they've been born with them.
Yeah.
And you have to free them. You have to free their souls.
How can they do that? Do you think how?
Have them teach them to observe the world.
Thank you. Yeah, because I believe too that the highest form of being is to be the observer.
Is
to be the observer.
Yeah, you
observe. Without judgment. Just observe.
Yeah. And not judge.
Yeah,
no
of
judgment.
Course. No judgment to myself or others. Just observe.
And no winning and no losing.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not important.
And there is no you and no I. It's all one. It's all one.
Yeah.
That's why he's a part of you and you're part of him.
And not to be afraid and to open up.
Yeah.
And allow things to come in.
Yeah.
And not fear.
Yeah.
Because fear kills you.
Fear is the real enemy.
It ends your life. It leads you.
It is the real enemy.
No feelings other than feelings for yourself. Bitterness.
Yeah.
And that's a very sad way to be, I think.
I also remember you'd see different kids would have different styles of painting.
Yeah.
I could feel his energy when one of the kids, and usually would be a girl, who would be very meticulous in drawing the perfect flower, just the way it is, and making sure that the shadows are perfect and everything. And I could feel that he gets pissed off. It's not about that. It's not about what you see with your eyes. It's about what you feel, right?
Exactly.
And so I think he would appreciate more the people who would portray in their art or in their expression the feelings rather than the actual thing.
But you've got to
live it.
You can get a computerized drawing that's perfectly made.
It's not.
It's the error in the
you
art.
Prefer one to another.
Yeah.
It's not that she was wrong in doing that. She was doing that because she was expressing what she is and how she sees it and how she feels it.
So program,
I love that you're allowing everything.
You have to allow it. You have to let them come through it. And then from that, lead them through to something. But that's their comfort. That's what they hold on to be who they think they are or who they hope they are. Because most people, like I said before, worry about who they are and am I good enough and blah 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 and blah. And everybody's good enough, but everyone has a different way of expressing it.
Because he was talking inside the room about different clients or patients that would come and try to get healed, and you would talk about that some people are so rigid and they're so in their comfort zone.
Exactly.
So the reason why I'm very
they call it their comfort zone.
He observes it.
It's not actually a comfort zone.
But could you explain that, because it has a lot to do with the expression of art in different kids or different people. Also has direct is directly related to the psychological states.
Of course,
the truth
for sure. It's here the comfort zone. I think Soden means the same. Is that it's not a real comfort zone as for all of us as in the universe, but for these people they made it as their comfort zone because they believe so. So they just limited themselves.
And perhaps they need it.
Yeah, they need it.
They have a need for it.
And actually, it's the ego self that needs it, because that's fear. Fear makes you stay in your created comfort zone. And
you close your doors, don't you?
And you think you're comfortable this way when you're not. You're just not exposed to fearful triggers, so you feel okay this way. So
because you were talking about people that live and actually live, and they're not scared. And
they're not scared.
You talked about people that are free and they're willing to make mistakes. Which is.
And that's how you should.
When you're creating art or when you're creating.
Well, I'm trying to say, in a sense, there's not a mistake. There isn't a mistake.
Art, or when you're creating your own life. You're creating art or your own life. You shouldn't be scared of making mistakes, because it's part of the beauty of life.
It is part of the beauty.
The beauty. Only if you have underneath some kind of solid base to yourself. If you don't have that solid base, that freedom can be quite
chaotic,
frightening. Because you're unable to deal with it. So someone's got to have a confidence inside them to be able to change and have different ideas, and you've got to give people that confidence, and that comes through loving them. Get back to the love. That comes through loving people.
Love is the answer.
And being loved, and being able to give love. Gives them the confidence. So then you can adapt and change and improve things. But
I totally agree. And
it's just got to be there, and forget this kind of it's not good or it's not right or you should be doing this or thinking that. It's not a question of that at all.
If you really want to sum it up, it's all. He just said it all. Love is the answer.
It's just the answer. And if only people could see it, this world would be absolutely amazing.
You can try many other ways, and you can find your way through by other ways, but if you can love, it's the answer.
I was just talking yesterday to someone about this.
We
were talking about being sick or having the flu, or feeling down. And I was telling that person, remember, if you ever were lucky enough to fall in love, and that time, that very beginning, when you first fall in love, the first month when you're in love, you're indestructible.
Exactly.
You're indestructible. If you have a disease, if you have anything,
you're indestructible.
You're indestructible. First of all, you have a hop. You're walking, and you have a skip to your walk. you wake up energetic, you sleep perfectly. If you have a cold or a flu or you're sick or whatever, you're sick with something, it's not going to stop you from seeing.
Sure.
And while I was talking, I realized that it's truly it is. You have to find. You don't have to fall in love with someone every month, but you have to surround yourself with
love. You have to be love.
And
you gotta be love yourself.
That's right.
You gotta be love.
And every day realize that you have to love something. You have to look forward.
You have to be yourself, the expression of love. That's what I figured out. Yeah. Because that's when I can be that. It's not that easy to be that, but when you can reach that vibration, you are in your highest of everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And people too are like, things are getting fixed, things are just getting fixed.
Yes, yeah.
You're activating the best in them, or like something like this,
absolutely.
It's like you are the one in control of the levels of whatever they have inside. So when you love them, you're like raising the good things and lowering the bad things in the person in front of you. You see them change.
Yeah.
And this raises up in my mind now a super thing, like, what do you think love is? What do you think love is? Like, that's a big thing, actually. It's what is love in your experience and in your...
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, please tell us.
My feeling, you're asking me.
What do you think is love?
What do you think love is? Like, because love, people get attracted in many different ways. People get in different types of relationships, and many call it love, while in my opinion,
it might be lust.
It's just lust, or
lust is not love,
or maybe I love what you do for me.
I think a lot of people are taking for themselves.
Need, thank you.
Yeah,
need, not a love, need.
Or
needs,
or an obsession.
Yeah.
Because love is like, as we were speaking there, I'm not thinking even of what I will have in return. It's like I'm radiating this emotion, and when you receive it, it's great. That's it.
You love the person because of their being.
They're
right there. They
exist. And plus that we are beings of dark and light, and that's something I always speak about. We are beings of dark and light. The light is easy to love. My light is. If I show you my light, it's easy to like. But can you handle my darkness? So I always say, love is accepting the darkness.
Yes.
Because the light, you will like it anyways, because it's light.
Well, if you don't have the darkness, you don't have the light.
Because they both identify each other, or like give meaning.
You can't have just light.
Darkness gives meaning to light, and light gives meaning to darkness, and the world is duality.
And you mustn't be afraid, because you have to suffer. Because if you don't suffer, you don't learn.
You're gonna breathe in and breathe out. You're gonna sleep and wake up. You're gonna feel fear and courage.
People who go through their life where everything works out are very often the kind of people you don't want to know, because they're quite selfish.
They are so selfish. They have no ability to love, and that's a life without a life.
Yeah.
He really just opened the light, turned on the light on something here, which is, people who are perfecting their life in a selfish way of preserving their, like people when this COVID happened, they just isolated completely from everything, and they couldn't feel any love to anything.
And everything is perfect for them. And everything works out for them.
That's
and it's like...
and that's not love too.
You can't relate to them at all, and they're not relating to anybody else.
And that's not self-love too, what they're doing, because there's no any darkness in it. So if it lacks the darkness, then it lacks the light, then it lacks the whole meaning. Then it lacks the whole meaning.
I think we get reborn a lot during this life. And going through birth, as a baby you cry, you go through a lot, you go through pain, and the mother goes through pain, and all of this process is painful. It is a struggle, like you said, it's part of life. And also during where the baby is born and you become something, you know.
Yeah.
And then we go through troubles during our life, and that's also suffering.
And you have to let your child go through trouble too.
Yeah, yes. You start your life.
You can't protect. There's too much protection.
Guys, you know, we start our lives with trauma.
Yeah.
Because birth is, the baby is usually thinking that he and the mother or she and the mother are one unit, one thing. And then when the baby is born, the first thing the baby realizes is that he is a person and this mother is another person.
Yes.
And they can be separated. So that's the separation and anxiety that we feel. We start our life with a separation and anxiety. Yeah.
But you mustn't forget though that the balance to that is that you have life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you go through this struggle, you go through this dreadful thing, but then you pop out and it's life.
Yes.
See,
and
so
that is more than anything.
That's more than, thank you. So if you are a person who is the selfish, self-preserved, not loving person, then you have to stay in your mother's tummy. You're eating, drinking, and pooping and growing with no effort.
You're gonna stay kids. But when you're, like I said, we get reborn because we go through struggles all the time. We have to accept these struggles and realize, okay, fine, I'm going through a struggle now, but at the end of the tunnel, there's light, and there's going to be light.
Without struggle, you don't have a life.
And I'm going to be better off. I'm going to get stronger, and I'm going to learn something from this.
It's going to make me stronger.
It's not the end of the world, you know?
So here, the only ingredient that you need is courage, or like to use fear.
Yeah.
Because if you understand that challenges only makes you better and only adds to you, and if you can vibrate on love a lot, then you're winning anyways. So you're gonna live a very good life, and you will enjoy the darkness and the light. You will enjoy the fall and the rise. You will understand the dynamics, and you will be flowing with life. But if you are fearful, then you will always try to build your own
fortress.
Yeah, thank you. Fortress.
Isolated
like castle and perfected.
It's like the story of Buddha.
And that's
It's like the story of the Buddha. He was a prince, right?
Yeah.
And it was killing him that he saw all these poor people and he decided to jump the fence, right?
Yeah.
You know the story very well. You guys don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to have the courage. He had everything. He had a beautiful wife. He had everything. His father didn't want him to leave the castle, right?
That's the story of many great men, by the way. Rumi was the same. Courage is always the key word for living, because the first thing consciousness gets when it's being developed is that we're all gonna leave this dimension somehow. We call it as energy people crossing over because we don't believe in end. There is no end. So we think it's like, okay, by consciousness now, the first thing we believe or understand is that people cross over this dimension or leave this dimension. So this means, this is a message like, be courageous. You're not, it's like it's not the destination or whatever they call it. So just be courageous. You need to enjoy courageous.
He was very courageous because you left your country, you traveled the world. You want to tell us about this? Because this is...
I'm still traveling the world.
And you're still traveling the world, but he left his England, and you had a very comfortable life in England.
Sure, very sure.
Right? He's a rich boy.
That's why he
left, and you can tell us the story because that's very interesting, and I want to hear it again.
Please.
What happened? Like you left.
I finished school and college.
It's full of courage.
In England, you were in England.
Yeah, in England.
Yorkshire.
And sort of like had to go through the whole process because my father insisted that I did.
Okay.
And he was a very wise man and much wiser than I was when I was young. And so I did everything as I should, but I couldn't wait to get out of the mold.
Okay.
I couldn't wait to get out of college. I couldn't wait to get out of university. I couldn't wait to get out into the world.
I feel you with that.
And when I finished at university, instead of taking on a job, which I could have done, which would give me lots of money and blah, 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 I chose to do a thing called voluntary service overseas. And that's where you volunteer yourself to a poor country and you work for them and you don't get paid anything.
It's voluntary. Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I was sent to what was now...
That's love. That's love. That's a
just
form of love.
Life. It was just like
love
thrilling.
to the universe and life and
Yeah, so I did that and then I worked for like 2 or 3 years on charities and things of that kind.
Where was your first destination?
That was my first...
Where?
East Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Wow.
Which at that time
Back then it was East Pakistan.
was very primitive, yeah.
Yeah, super primitive back then. Still they are a bit primitive, so probably back then they are.
And then Iran.
And then I worked with Red Cross, and then I worked in a leprosarium colony.
Wow.
And then I worked in Calcutta with Mother Teresa.
Oh.
Tell us about that.
And, another time.
Another time. Okay. He's modest also.
And you know, it's just like it just opened up my eye to all different peoples of the world, different colours, different races, different religions, and realised that
that's why we're here.
Everyone is actually the same. You know, all people are the same.
Yeah.
We just have certain characteristics which are different.
Yeah.
But deep inside us,
we're all one.
We're all one. We're all the same. And I learnt that.
The biggest illusion is the illusion of separation. True.
And then I lived in various countries where they had wars. I mean, the first war was in East Pakistan with West Pakistan, and that's when I had to escape. And then I was in Iran, and they had a revolution in Iran.
You're picking like the hot countries.
Yeah, and Afghanistan, you know, and so many places here.
Yeah.
So it's just like they continued to follow me through my life. These immense happenings, and I feel I'm like that now because I'm fascinated, you know, drawn, intrigued by what's going on in the Middle East at the moment. Between sort of Gaza and Israel, and it's absolutely fascinating. I feel I'm in a place which is kind of raw and exciting and something we can learn from. Definitely. And I'm sitting here directly in the middle of it, you know.
Definitely.
But I'm just full of this feeling of love.
Oh. The best
and I just feel it for everybody, you know.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
And you went through Africa also.
Yeah, I had terrible times in Africa. I got arrested at one point by ZANU-PF guerrillas in Zimbabwe.
Oh God.
And I had 6 months with them, sort of interrogated and all the rest, tortured and this and this.
God.
Yeah.
He has a couple of paintings.
I got a whole series of paintings on that.
Wow. What like you painted what? Like the president naked
the people,
or what?
the places, the happenings, the colours, the emotions, the feelings,
himself also.
The dread.
So you're like showing the reality of it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So they didn't like that, of course.
Pardon? Well, no, they thought I was working as a spy for CIA.
Oh.
And
you're English, you're not American.
Yeah. Things like that.
It doesn't stop them, yeah.
So, you know, I got arrested as a CIA spy.
MI6, yes.
But that's just one moment. I've had several times, you know, where I've nearly been on death, you know. It's like, really thought that this is it, you know.
Yeah.
But I've come back, you know. I've also, my big philosophy in life has always been, from when I've been quite young, that they can chain me to the ground, but they'll never get me down. And what I mean that is you're just a physical being. In your mind, they can do what you like with your body.
But they can't take what's inside.
But your mind is your own.
Yeah, nobody can. Yeah. And that's why studying how to program the mind for political reasons and it's very dangerous because And I thought also the most important thing is to keep free. Keep your head free. Freedom is the thing. Yeah. You know. If you can keep your emotions, love and head free, you're.
So I don't fear danger. I don't feel danger. You know?
Yeah.
I just feel.
How's Egypt different than any place?
Well, Egypt. I arrived in Egypt, and a month later, Sadat was assassinated.
Oh.
So you know, it's like it was just a continuation of everything else. It's been like that all the way through.
Everybody's doing bullets everywhere.
Something happening in this and that.
Around you, yeah.
And I'm just keeping my head down and painting and having my relationships and giving what I feel.
You're balancing. See, you're balancing that's balance, because
balance,
where war and peace.
It's a power. It's a power.
War and peace.
Yeah. The whole thing, the whole sort of yin and yang and black and white and good and bad. It's always there.
It's always one.
Life and death.
That's why life makes between holding on and letting go, because it's never only one black or one white.
That's right. So I had all these special experiences, so it's had an effect upon me. I remember when I was 21, I was working for Red Cross, and there had been a big cyclone in Bangladesh, East Pakistan, and I was put on this boat, and it was loaded with provisions for the people who'd been drowned and were sort of in really bad circumstances. And I was 21, and I got to this island, and this had been an island of 80,000 people, and there were 4,000 left, and the rest of them were lying on the beaches dead. And we had to wait on the boat for a week before we could walk, because being Muslim, they wouldn't walk on the dead bodies. And I remember being on that boat for a week and seeing these dead bodies floating around in the water. And then anyway, we got to the camp, and I was there for about a month or two, and I was with a friend, and we were in a tent, living in a tent, and he was feeling very ill, and he vomited outside the tent, and immediately all these dogs came, like ravaging dogs, starving dogs, and started eating his vomit. And I had to pull him in, and he was like that, and I thought, I've got to get out of this tent. And so I went to the back end of the tent, the other side where the dogs weren't, and I took a walk into the country. And in that time, the atmosphere was very extraordinary colours and things. It wasn't normal at all. And in front of me, I could see this lake, and I thought I'll walk over to the lake. And as I got closer to the lake, I realised it was full of flowers, blooming flowers like lotus blossoms, and they were kind of a deep pink because the sky was a dark purple colour and the moon was blue. And it was a very, very beautiful scene, and it was just the opposite to what I've been seeing in this tent,
Exactly, it's the balance.
And I got up to it, and as I got up to it, there's a little bridge leading across. I went up into the bridge, and I looked down into the waters, and what I thought had been flowers were actually hands and arms and legs sticking out of the water, And it was that moment, I was 21, that my whole life just turned over, because it was like I realised how close life and death is, and beauty and ugliness, and how the two are related. And that was a particular moment in my life that changed everything.
It's a moment of enlightenment, I call it.
And I was only 21,
it's amazing. It's a moment when you kind of you become everything.
Yes, it's a revelation.
It's like you become everything somehow, for like a glimpse, and then you're back.
And everything that you believed in suddenly just completely changes. Doesn't have any relevance any longer. It doesn't have a meaning any longer.
But it comes from
I love these moments.
We're just talking about courage, which allows you to observe and be aware of your surrounding. He looked at the sky, he looked at he was observing, and courage led you to that, and then you start developing as a human being, in my opinion. Right? You tell me.
Well, it's all happening at the same time, Kareem. One thing doesn't happen, then another. It's just like all part of the process, all part of that. Well, when I got to Egypt, after all these extraordinary circumstances I had, I can tell you why I got to Egypt, but I don't need to. But I arrived in Egypt, and I got out of the plane, and I knew that I was in the place I needed to be and wanted to be. It just really, like that.
What is it about Egypt? Like some people say
Just got out of the plane and it just went pow,
Yeah.
And I knew it.
You kind of knew this is a place.
After all that search, after all that struggle, after all those adventures, And then I got to Egypt and it was just like that.
I always say Egypt has a very strong energy.
It has an extraordinary energy.
Yeah, it either
special.
wants you, so it keeps you and you can never leave it, or it pushes you away immediately. You don't stay for a long time and it pushes you away. So it's like, it's either likes you or it's not meant for you. I don't know how it happens.
I can't use the word like, it's a little
light. Yeah, it's too light,
It's like, I've been told I've been in intensive care for the last 5 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I discharged myself from hospital, especially to come here.
Oh, that's so amazing, wow.
And when I got out of the hospital...
Thank you. I'm super grateful,
I'm not saying to get thanks or appreciation.
I am grateful. I am grateful.
And Hamada, who you hopefully go to see when he gets here, he picked me up in the car, and I came out of the hospital, and it was like such joy to be in the busy streets of Agami. You know how busy it is, and to look at all the faces and hear all the people talking and arguing and laughing. And it was just like, wow, it's like all over again, and that happened this afternoon. It was like an amazing experience, and that was just even after 5 years being interned in a room, to come out and see that breathing and that life and that warmth and that happiness and that glow and the eyes, the color.
I love how you describe it, how you appreciate it,
and it was just
how you feel it.
Wonderful.
I wish everybody can appreciate every moment here. Going through a moment of life, and the beat of life is around them, like people arguing and smiling and shouting.
That's
and
right. That's what I love about Egypt, because it's real.
It's alive. It's so real. It's true. I love Egypt in this reality part of it.
And then driving across the desert to come to Cairo, with the clouds going down and the desert and the sunlight, and it was just like Eden. It was like paradise. And I'm here.
I love that you're here. Thank you for being here. And the artists are, in my opinion, a channel to some balance, because there is darkness, as we said in the world. There's darkness. There are ugly stuff.
Yes.
So these wars, the wars that are happening, conflicts, Palestine, Israel, the world, Russia, Ukraine, killings, bombings, slaughtering people, and like burning kids and weird stuff, So, but now, artists and forever, they've been balancing this, because, as we said, there is no life with no darkness and light. Darkness and light are the main ingredients of life. So, wars and these ugly stuff will always, they have been always happening, and they will always happen. It's just better cameras now and better equipment to just video the stuff, but it was always out there. It never stopped.
We're just more aware of it because
I would like, because as an artist, what I would like to do before I die is to do something about this,
You're already doing, in my opinion, because you're already doing art, and art is the buffer of.
It has to go further. It has to get out, And my limitation is money. If I had more money, I could do it, but I don't.
That's our limitation.
I have enough money to live and produce art, But if I want to do something in the world, I have to have more. I have to have more to bring it out.
Of course.
And I'm hoping that at some point in my life I'm going to meet that person who understands and can help me to do that. Because I can do a lot. I feel I can do a lot.
Of course. Art is the beauty, and so it's not. It's the opposite of ugliness. So it's very essential. It's the breathe in. I feel we breathe in. we breathe out.
Yeah.
So the breathe in is we take the oxygen and the good stuff, and the breathe out we release the carbon dioxide and the bad stuff. So art is the breathe in, wars and ugly stuff are the breathe out. You can't touch one of them, but
then you
the breathe in is the nurturing.
You can't have a plant without carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
No carbon dioxide, no plants. No plants, no life. So even poison is a positive.
Yeah, no night, no fruit coming out because the tree needs light and dark to bring the fruit.
No fire.
Yeah, no oxygen, no fire, for example.
You need everything. Everything is required.
Yeah.
It's only how it's interpreted whether it becomes negative or positive, or used for devilish purposes. And there's a lot of that power of the devil in this world, and particularly now, and it's having an effect upon everyone.
True.
The fashions,
True.
the films you watch,
True.
the vehicles you drive, the ambitions that we're told about. There's a lot of evil,
Yeah.
And it's not whispering.
There's people painting themselves with
very
evil
loud,
designs, tattoos and piercings. It's all very negative and very satanistic.
Devilish, yeah.
And I feel that I'm here to create some balance to that,
Yeah.
because someone has to,
Yeah.
We can start with our surroundings, with the people that we love.
We can start by what we are inside ourselves,
So the thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is, and with Kareem especially, because Kareem, in my humble opinion, is a great father.
Very special.
I have kids.
Very special,
And he's a great father. He's a great father.
I've had people like Sheldon that helped me.
Of course, he's a part of you. We agree on
My grandfather, for example, and my father.
Yeah.
And a lot of people around me that helped me deal with my kid and become a father. Whatever you call it, father or teacher or influence.
But I love that you're always making sure to be the present, loving, protective, accepting father that you are.
I've had that in my life. I was fortunate enough to have that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to.
You're not choosing the easy way. By the way, it's not the easy way, because that is art. It's a lot of art in dealing with a kid that is not living with you on a daily basis, and you're her father, so you need to supply her with some kind of energy of the father and the protection and the masculinity, and so I see you doing that great, and that's a type of art. It's a type of art, because anything that needs love, acceptance, generosity, love. Love is the headline. It's art.
I have to be thankful for you.
Habibi, thank you.
The last 4 years,
Thank you.
I've had because he said that I take care of my daughter alone during the weekend, which the divorced father.
You've been through many different chapters,
but
yet you.
Since then, he had a lot to do with helping me.
Very grateful.
So I'm
very
grateful.
grateful. He had many different days, let's call it, but he was always keeping the supply of fatherhood to his girls properly.
Yeah.
And that's something is not easy to be done. You should always
Well,
give yourself the credit for that.
I don't think there's anything worse than divorce.
Yeah.
In a marriage.
Yeah.
It's the death of love, which is we were talking about love.
And the guilt, a feeling of guilt that you could have done something about it.
It's failure, feeling of failure, feeling of.
Yes. You could have done more.
Yeah.
You could have been a better person.
And you are grieving a person who's still alive. You have to. That's a point. That's a point it's nobody talks about enough, that you are grieving someone who is still there.
Or someone who was there with you but everything changed.
Yes, yes.
And you have to accept it. What
so
you said,
when
you have to
things
accept.
change, so literally the person that was with you is dead.
Yes.
So you're grieving someone. That
it's not so much dead. It's just that it's a person that you have no influence with any longer.
Yeah.
It's someone that you can't share with any longer
Because
they have actually pulled themselves away, and you're left sort of isolated.
Yeah.
So it's not a death because it's still there. If it's a death, there'd be no feeling, but there is feeling.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything about it. It's like being able to see through a glass window, but you can't reach that person on the other side any longer.
Which is more annoying.
Which is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, very frustrating.
And makes you feel very miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
because if only you had a second chance.
Yeah.
You know, but the chance is gone actually because that person has moved on into another space.
True.
And you haven't moved with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very grateful for that. I think everything worked out for the best because my connection with my daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
absolutely profound. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And my first worry or my main worry was for my daughter because I was born in a house where both parents were there.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I had grandparents. I was a very wholesome home. I wanted my daughter to also have that.
Yeah.
I felt that I failed to give her that. But when all of this happened, I tried to make the most out of it and try to keep her, try to do as much as I can.
Believe it or not, your relationship with her, if you were all in the same house, was not going to be as close.
Yeah.
Because you have quality time every time you see her. And this feeling of the urge to compensate for the divorce made you focus on her and give her more love and more acceptance.
It hurts me sometimes when she says, Papa, you know, when I'm with you, I miss Mama. When I'm with Mama, I miss you.
She's expressing. We were just talking about expression and depression.
Also, we were talking about you shouldn't. It's part of her journey. Like
it's part of her journey.
Thank you. I always say this. It's shaping her from inside. And this is related to her journey, her path. You know that that's why I'm telling you that I'm grateful for you as a father because the way you are dealing with your daughter is shaping her from inside. This piece of puzzle that she will, or the lens that she will view relationships with.
Yeah.
So she will grow up, usually the girl grows up looking for a guy that is closer to her father the most.
Yes.
Unconsciously. Yeah? So.
Which is her way of becoming strong. You know? She's becoming strong in this sense, yeah. But what she doesn't want, and what nobody wants, is that the feeling that you're not being looked after any longer, that you've been deserted, that you've been left. As long as she knows you're here, and you tell her, I'm here for you, she can go out and do anything.
Yeah. That's
because
the healthiest.
You're that root for her.
Yeah.
Plus, she wouldn't be, we're talking about love.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be dependent on anyone to get this love because she already has it.
She doesn't have a shortage.
She doesn't have shortage, so she would go into a relationship with her
not
mind
seeking
also,
security and safety.
Yes, not seeking security and safety. She already has that. She's looking for purity.
Yeah.
And to emulate as much as possible the relationship with her father, because her father were part of nature. I'm gonna be gone, and someone else is gonna, it's a cycle. I know that one day I'll be gone,
but she takes that with her. She's got that inside.
So my mother, for example, I was very fortunate to have a very amazing grandfather.
Yeah.
My mother's father.
Yeah.
And it was like my second father, or just as important as my father actually.
Yeah.
And I used to spend quality time, like you said, with him.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from him. He was very wise. Also a lot to do with energy and
all
of that.
Yeah.
And the power of the mind. You know, at night he would, before sleep, he would sit and hypnotize himself. So
that's rewiring the unconscious.
He would sit and whisper. You know, I don't know what he whispered. He's like, I'm saying, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting better. I'm getting
That's
stronger.
what's called affirmations now.
Yeah, and this was back then, you know. And he had lots of books about and the power of the mind and the third eye and all of that.
I'm very impressed.
Now, and even jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu, and he even had books. But I start to now, a lot of things that he told me are actually very relevant today, and it's because of courage. Also, he also had a very adventurous life like Saad.
Yeah.
And having an adventurous life like that, and going through struggles and learning, makes you become a father figure.
I've often wondered, you know, from a personal point of view, your obsession with your body and your strength and all this, and why you feel you have to do it, why you've done it. What is it that has
Where's it coming from?
Where's it coming? Why do you feel you've got to be a big guy who knows all the rest of it? Yeah.
Some say it's armor.
Yeah.
Armor to protect your weakness inside. Some say that.
Yeah.
I when I was younger, and Saudin saw me when I was really overweight.
Yeah.
You know, I was a very shy, overweight kid. I changed, you know, this.
You wanted to change that.
Yeah, but what I found out, and maybe it was programmed in my mind, is that when I became fitter, when I became stronger, when I became more capable as a man, as a young man, when I became more capable, it also changed my mental state.
Of course.
And it changed my grades even, and it changed, and it gave me courage.
Yeah.
You know? So, since then, since this transformation, when I was 12, 13, I just can't let go of it, because I feel that it's so vital for my personality.
And do you still feel that way?
Yes, because when I slip, you know, I find myself completely. I go through. I'll have to say the truth. You know, I go through moments of just total chaos in my life.
Yeah.
And I just let go of the things that I have been grabbing onto, maybe for comforts, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's a positive thing. I find myself lost, completely lost, and my personality completely lost, and I start doing things that are not of my nature.
Yeah.
Was when I go back to my discipline, or the things that gave me my strength, my inner strength and physical strength, I find myself flourishing. So
is it a sort of protection?
Like I said, I thought it was armor, protection.
Yes.
It could be all of them. It could be protection, and it could be the fact that it's actually part of my.
It affects his emotions somehow. Like it changes his emotions, because whatever he's feeling is vibrating and it's.
I'm an extremist also, you know. I'm a bit of an
You
extremist.
don't say.
Yeah. I'm a bit of an extremist. So the other extreme would be really bad.
Yeah.
So keeping having a discipline for me.
It's good to know yourself and to.
If I don't have a discipline.
Put your things in the right place. Keda, you're putting your tendency to go chaotic in a good place.
No, because if I don't have a discipline like being physical and having physical strength and practicing my physicality and my fitness, I would probably be right now in Brazil. Surrounded by very bad people,
dancers,
and probably like not being a good father also. So it just keeps me grounded.
It made him more disciplined. Made him more.
It keeps me grounded. To be honest.
Yeah.
I have to say, even if it's.
I feel in a sense it's like covering over, and you don't need to, because what you're inside is such a lovely thing, you know, that you don't need. You don't need this, and you didn't from the beginning. But it was done because you felt maybe an inadequacy, because you were small and fat, and everybody else was playing football and looking muscly and stuff.
When I meet my friends now,
as you get older,
difference.
sure you become to we're talking about knowing yourself, you know, knowing that actually the little Kareem of that time was actually a very special and beautiful person.
Definitely.
And you don't have to protect it because that's what you are.
It comes out, but with the right people.
Yeah. True.
Being a father.
No. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's you. It's you. I'm not talking about you, your knowledge of coming out. I'm talking about the essence of what you are, of who you are. And that is a beautiful, loving person. And you don't have to worry about protecting it because it's powerful in itself.
Express.
Because that's what you are giving to the world. Not your muscly image, but who you are inside, you know? What you are. And that's what you've got to know about yourself. You've got to find that. You've got to find it, Kareem, because that is just so worthwhile and so lovely. And I can tell you that because I was your teacher for years and years and years, and you were very special. But I think you doubted it and you lacked your confidence and you started building up this kind of burly image, you know, which is like, strengthens and gives you possibilities to keep things from happening that are bad to you. And, you know, it's like, it's here and it's here.
Yeah, that's a great advice, actually.
You're right. You're right. I should pay more attention to my art because, to be honest, I was just today, this morning, I was thinking, you know, there's this painting that I always wanted to paint.
Yeah.
It's engraved in my mind.
Yeah.
And maybe today is a new chapter, and maybe I should pay more attention to my actually painting.
Yeah, you have a lot to express.
Because art comes out, like we were saying, art comes out in different forms. It doesn't have to be painting.
No, in all forms.
In all,
everything,
in all aspects of life.
Like we did this project recently, me and Saladin. He did.
I saw it's
painting,
beautiful. Yeah.
And because of my business, I do bed sheets and towels. So I took his painting and I transformed it into a design.
Amazing.
With his help.
Yeah.
And his guidance, and it turned out really nice.
Yeah. I love the work. So, I saw it.
Yeah, art has many forms. You know, it doesn't have to
infinite.
That has been a very special occasion to be here and meet you both.
Oh, thank you. Very great.
To thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time and knowledge.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time. You added a lot, and we will definitely do this again. We will definitely do some artwork here, please.
Yes,
I would love that. And I'm blessed today.
We're all blessed.
Thank you.
We're all blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.